And back home now, at least one legal expert, Mpumelelo Zikalala, says in terms of today's court ruling, amaZulu King Misuzulu KaZwelithini could go ahead with a customary marriage to Nomzamo Myeni if he so wishes. The application for an interdict to stop King Misuzulu from marrying another wife in a customary ceremony has been struck off the roll in the Pietermaritzburg High Court in Kwazulu Natal. Judge Bongani Mngadi based his ruling on a letter she wrote to members of the royal family in which she sought their intervention. The judge said in the letter, Queen Ntokozo KaMayisela noted that it was not her intention to stop the Zulu monarch from having more than one wife, so long as they resolve the legal hurdle of them being married in a civil union. Professor Sihawukele Ngubane, a cultural expert, is joining us this afternoon to look at some of the issues that have been popping up as far as the amaZulu royal family is concerned. Prof, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for your time. There's been quite a number of issues: the sacking of the Prime Minister, the divorce proceedings, the announcement of a wedding, the challenge to the wedding, the firing of his spokesperson, the statement that the wedding is not going ahead, and then there are developments with the board of the Ingonyama Trust, which the minister is also raising concerns about. So what do these say to someone who's watching, who's part of the amaZulu Nation?
Yeah, it's a cause of alarm for the Zulu Nation on what is happening lately. People are not sure and are confused on what is going on. I've just heard from your clip that the court struck the case, and then does this have the implication that the wedding is going to go ahead or not? We are not too sure, and this is causing a lot of confusion because we were waiting for the big day on the 26th, and all of a sudden we had the news that the wedding was called off. And now we are in a limbo. We don't know what is really happening.
And it's quite interesting, Prof, that you say that, because yes, the court was looking at the matter of urgency, and we'll hear over time as to what happens with this one. But I want to stay with this issue of the wedding itself, right? When you look at the issue of the weddings, what qualifies as a royal wedding?
Yes, it does qualify because all the rituals have already been performed and the ilobolo has been paid. I think the wedding is justified. And also in the Zulu tradition, we know that udwendwe aluhleli. So the wedding goes ahead as long as the two parties are present, unless one of the parties is not around or has disappeared. Then the wedding can be called off. In the tradition of amaZulu, the wedding goes ahead. Even if there is death in the family, it does go ahead.
So, Prof, can we say that the amaZulu Nation have had a royal wedding up until this point, looking at, for example, from Queen Ntokozo KaMayisela to the Gamulela, and now what was to be expected? Has the amaZulu Nation had a royal wedding which concluded all the rights?
No, not at all. Not at all. Because in the case of Ntokozo KaMayisela, there was no wedding. Umgcagco didn't take place, and the nation was still waiting to go to the celebration. And the second queen also, the wedding ceremony did not take place. But all other necessary rituals were taken care of. And this was going to be an exciting, or is going to be an exciting moment if it goes ahead, because in a nutshell, it will be the first celebration that the Zulu Nation will witness.
So can we say that then the amaZulu Nation have a queen right now, if we're saying that we haven't seen what would qualify as a royal wedding up until this point, possibly?
Yeah, I think when you become Ingodu, so it means all the necessary rituals have been attended to, and it's only the two final stages, umkhehlo, which is like an engagement in the Western sense, and after umkhehlo, then the wedding. So I think at the moment, we do not have one.
So when you then look at the fact that there was now that statement that was saying that there's a withdrawal of, the benefits to Nomzamo Myeni, as well as the security allowances and all of that, should she have had that already?
As in Gotuso, in English we call a fiancé. I don't know how the regulations from the Premier's office or from the government applies because, as I said, once all the lobola has been paid and it's only the celebration, you become a queen. That is why he qualified to have all these benefits that all the queens enjoy. So in this case, a wedding becomes a celebration. It becomes just a celebration to affirm the relationship. So when this was approved that she qualifies for the benefits, I think they considered many points as far as culture is concerned.
So, Prof, when you look at the fact that right now there is that matter that's still pending before the courts when it comes to the divorce, and we know what kind of controversy that has also courted, and then at the same time there is this issue of whether or not nobody knows if this wedding that was meant to go on the 26th is still continuing. How should the family, and that's the royal family, be handling this particular issue?
Yeah, I think you are touching on a very important point because this is a matter that has to be presided by the family because weddings are communal celebrations and families should be involved. Both families, the bride and the groom, should be involved. I think this is a matter that needs to be negotiated between the two families. Maybe I should take your viewers aback that the contract, marriage contract between the two people or a couple, in the Western sense, is binding to the two people. But amongst the Africans people, it's not about the two people who fall in love and get married, but it is bringing together the two families. So the families get involved the moment it is announced that there will be a call to negotiate marriage. That's when the involvement of the family starts. And then from there, it's going to be lifetime because we know in the African setup, the contract does not end when one partner dies. That's why we have rituals like Ubungena, which is also controversial at the moment in the modern life. But it was meant to take care of the children if the father is not there. And if the mother is not there, a sister to the mother will be invited to the family to look after her sister's children. And that was the norm, and it was normal to do that. So it shows that it's not about the two people who will say, hey, let's get married, and then they buy a ring. Here in the African tradition, you involve two families. So that is why it is so important and significant for families to get involved at this point.
Interesting times ahead, Prof, and let's see how this one plays out, as you say, that it's going to be a matter that requires the family, and what do they say then in public about this is also yet another layer to this conversation that I'm sure some are looking forward to. But thank you so much. Appreciate your time. That is Professor Sihawukele Ngubane, a cultural expert.